Boom, we're live. What's up, everybody? It's 1 o'clock on Wednesday. Happy to have you all here. Hope everybody's doing well. Today we got Andrew. Andrew's here. Say hello,
Yo,
Andrew.
what's up, everyone? Surprise guest.
Oh, damn. The one
Yeah,
and only Andrew.
special guest.
Andrew
Very
in the
special.
house, co-founder of Learn Squared. How's everybody doing out there? Hope you guys are doing good. We got the chat going, so feel free. Today is going to be a casual one. It's just going to be Andrew and I. I'm going to be playing a little bit with some of the stuff that I've been learning in Michael Wrigley's class, the Design for Production Workflow class. We'll have a couple little announcements as we go through. If you guys have questions, I'll try to keep an eye on the chat. And Andrew's going to be working alongside. So it's going to just be a chill day for us today. Nothing crazy. Just more or less just hanging out, having fun. And I'm going to be going through just kind of playing with some stuff. And yeah, you guys are going to see some madness, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah. Andrew, you've been watching a lot of horror films this for Halloween, right? Like every day, are you watching one?
Yeah, I'm doing Spooktober.
What is that
It's,
exactly?
Just watching a scary movie every day of the month. So far, I watched The Witch, which was amazing. So good. Probably one of my favorite horror movies. Like, I immediately became one of my favorites just after some amazing sequences. Then I watched The Conjuring, The Thing, which, gotta say, didn't really love The Thing.
Well, it's an older film, so like it's
Yeah, I'm curious. They remade it in 2011, so I'm curious to watch the remake and see if that one like appeals to me more or something with my stupid young person brain.
Yeah, that stuff. Like I don't know. Like it was when I worked on the actually when I was at Prologue, they were working on the titles and stuff for that film. Yeah, it's pretty interesting actually. If you think about it, like I don't know. I haven't watched the original in a while, but I never watched the remake. I often never do. So
Yeah, the effects were amazing, obviously, but I mean, I just kind of, it's not even worth mentioning how amazing the VFX in that movie are, just because it's so obvious. Like you watch the effects in the original, and it's like, like I to this day like still have no idea how they did half the stuff in there.
yeah.
Like, it's really wild. Like I don't know if it was stop motion or puppets or what. Like it's insane.
A lot of it is a mix, I think. When I watched a lot of the behind the scenes, because I studied that film a little bit, a lot of it's practical, like practical effects, of course, but it's a lot of in between, just like improvising and problem solving as you go. Kind of like how they make any of those films back then. It's just like, oh, we have a monster, so all right, let's get some like rubber cement and some wood and some other things, and see what we can come up with. They didn't have like these kind of tools that we have now, which still, I don't think. What's the last film that you saw that uses CGI well? That was like, oh wow, that was convincing. That was like really good.
Um, I remember you asked me this the other day too, and I said Chappie, but there were sequences in Chappie where the robots really did look incredible. Like something about the lighting and the texturing, and District 9 is a similar one where the company that did all those effects, like I think it's called Image Engine, some of the sequences were just like very realistic, because I think they had Weta to kind of give them that backup where they could just make a life-size maquette and just say this is what the creature or the robot looks exactly like, so just make this in CG, and turned out well. I mean, there was some sequences in Chappie too with like the moose that was like totally whack, but for the most part, some of the effects in that were amazing.
I never watched it, so I don't know. I can't really say.
It's good.
It's like your favorite movie.
I'm one of the few people who think it's good, but
Yeah,
I'll fight for it.
You're a big Blomkamp fan. What is it about his work that you like? Did you see Elysium? I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
I thought that was his worst, which, I mean, that's to say it had some redeeming qualities, but overall just like wasn't as strong as the others. I think I just dig the idea of infusing like really futuristic stuff with otherwise totally unfuturistic stuff. Like, for example, in Chappie having like gangsters with a robot that's sentient. Like that sentence alone is it's such a bizarre juxtaposition, I think, to have and to explore. Like, so I think that's interesting. And District 9 did like a pretty similar thing where it's like alien invasion in the ghetto, or
Yeah.
like in a South African like favela or whatever. I don't know what that's called, but yeah. Yeah, so I think I don't know that it's necessarily like his writing as much as it is his interest in exploring things that I'm interested in just by chance, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it has like he's got I think with District 9 he had some really interesting things too there that had like he was pulling on some really interesting concepts of mashing different genres and things together, which I thought were really cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was like an alien invasion movie without like the explosions and shit.
Yeah, which is really cool. Very interesting stuff. Yeah, I liked it. I thought District 9, he pulled it off really well. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Playing with some X particles right now. How many of you guys play with X particles?
Yeah, I'm curious to know that because it feels like it's been catching on a lot recently.
Yeah. It's so much fun. It's super addicting. Let's see. Yeah. Right now I'm using X particles. I believe this is the latest update, and I'm running a simulation really quickly now, and with an attractor and a slight turbulence effector coming off of the emitter. That's all attached to this cube. And what I've done, if you're using Octane, which is pretty cool, like what you can do is you can create an object tag that like you can set a hair node to. This is some stuff that I've been doing for a bit, but it was really cool to learn some of this stuff from Michael Wrigley for his class. Had some really interesting things. So there already is turbulence. Look at this right here. Boom. Yeah. Yeah. So, and the thing I love doing with X particles is just making abstractions that I would only be able to kind of maybe say like take a photograph of or something random. Being able to capture it in an interesting light is really cool. Having that kind of setup is really a lot of fun. So see this, bam. So HDRI, I'm gonna go ahead and grab one. Have this resources tab. We have a bunch of really interesting setups in here. These are ones that I bought online. You can check out his work. I believe it's let's see if that's the name, but yeah, if you go to his site and you grab, these are cool. I think they're only like $5 for this kit, but they're really good HDRIs and they work really well. They're high resolution and yeah, they're super rad. Bam, bam, bam. Rotate this thing here. Yeah, and the thing I like to do with having X particles is being able to like just create random simulations and then taking pictures of them, because literally you just kind of capture it. For me, it's like just taking a photograph, which is really fun. Let me change this ratio to 560 to 1440. How many of you here are using Cinema 4D on a regular basis?
Keeping up with the chat too, like if any questions pop up, I'm just saving them so we can do them at the end if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. Here, so let me try and find this guy's thing here. So it's been a while since I got this guy's pack, but Maxim Roz. Yeah, there it is. If you go to his site, it's maximeroz.com. He has some really cool stuff, and in here he has an HDRI. I got this tip from my friend Yambo. He's awesome, such a sweetheart. I love that guy. But he's got some really cool setups in here. I'm not sure if he has them or, yeah, maybe he has it in a pack right here. But yeah, here they are. So there's a free pack for you guys that want to try it out, and then there's the one that you can buy, which is I believe I bought that one and I have both of them. But a really good HDRI really helps a lot, obviously, because it gives you like localized color and all that kind of great stuff, which is really fun. So I go here. now I'll run the simulation, test it out, see how it looks. And then I'll go in here and maybe just augment the shader ever so slightly. Or I can go into like the node-based editor and start like really playing with like interesting things. Cornelius was showing me some really cool stuff in the node editor the other day, which is really, love that stuff. It's so cool. I'm just starting to get into it now, which has been, I wish I could show that file. I can't. You know what render I'm talking about. Let's see.
The good stuff.
The good stuff. Let me see if I can add some dirt in here. And then we'll do like a mixed material. Material amount. Diffuse. Oops. Cut that out. Nope. And delete this. Yeah, so today is just like casual, just hanging out. Gonna be playing with Cinema 4D stuff. Nothing too crazy. We had some stuff that we did in the design that was fun. Last time through After Effects, or not After Effects, but Adobe Illustrator. But today I just kind of wanted to just go through and play around inside Cinema 4D and X Particles. And then if you guys had any questions, I got quite a few questions via internet this past week, and things that I'd like to try and answer that were too abstract for me to try and answer through email. And so if you're here, I don't want to call you out by name, but if you're here, make sure you ask so I can try to address those things. I forget the exact question, but I remember somebody asking them, so I wanted to make sure I was able to get to you here. Because a lot of times when I have to answer questions that are very complex over email, I usually don't like to do that because you could misread what I'm saying and come out like horribly wrong or something. You could take like the wrong advice and it could lead to some kind of like weird experience for you that wasn't my intention. So giving advice is always really hard because I feel like, you know, nobody's really worthy of giving advice. So everybody has their own experience in life and different setups and things and stuff. So yeah. Let's see. Question from Brainchild TV. Can you change the navigation in Cinema 4D? Pressing 1, 2, 3 is weird. I'll use it if I have to, though. That's funny that you say that because this is kind of how I learned how to do it. And so when I have to go to other programs, it's really weird to me. I know there's a way, but I never changed it because I've always liked the way that using 1, 2, and 3 works.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can use Alt and Option.
Yeah, I think that's the alternate. But I've always just used this, so it's kind of like natural for me to use this transition. So it's like something that this is the way I navigate in Cinema. And every time I go to another program, I'm like, man, this sucks. Like, why can't it be more like Cinema? So it's kind of funny conundrum. Because if you're coming from another program, it's got completely different parameters in which they use and stuff. So yeah, that's always a pain in the butt. It's almost like you want to have, you know, one program that does it all. You know, like one ring to rule them all. You want that. That's really the goal, you know, is to have something that you can use. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, and if you look here, what I'm doing is let's go back into the emitter. Let's do the attributes. And if my setup looks a little bit differently, like my desktop, it's just because it's custom set to the things that I like to use. Yeah. Let's see, in my emitter, let's see the object, emissions. I have like a birth rate of 3,000, and then there's it's set at pulse. That's why if you look in here, you can see these things are what was in the start. Yeah, it's blocking out now. Let me change it to rate. Just let it go crazy. Tractor. Let me bring this tractor on now. Now it's super chuggy. You drop down the rate or the birth rate. I love this kind of stuff because it reminds me of just being a kid and playing with like paint or like any of these kind of just abstract real things, but you're being able to do it inside of the computer, which is a lot of fun. So let's see this one. Go ahead and let me pause the render on Octane because it's chugging out the simulation, and I'm just going to focus on here. I'd love to figure out a project. I mean, we did it. Wrigley and I did quite a bit of particle stuff in the Adobe project, but I'd love to find a project to do it, to make something not just like this, because this is kind of expected, but I'd love to make something that has is using it in an interesting way, like using it. There's so much power to this. I think the one studio that uses this kind of well, I'm not sure if they're using that, but it's what's that called? That studio. Nydia Diaz used to work with them, I believe.
Oh, Analog?
No, not Analog. It's the other studio before them. I believe she worked with them. They did like a lot of really beautiful. Man, what was that studio's name? It's really, really beautiful, like Future Deluxe, I think it's called.
Oh yeah. Well, that is a studio. I don't know if that was the one that she was at. I only knew Analog.
Yeah, let's see. Bam. Okay. Future Deluxe. Bam. Yeah,
she was there.
Yeah, she worked there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't seen their work is really awesome. But I believe they're using some kind of particle sim kind of stuff here in their work, which is really cool. Yeah, you can see it here. Shoes, more shoes. Let's see here. There was these things that they did, like these experiments, which are really beautiful. Yeah, these are really cool. I love looking at this stuff and like trying to figure out the reverse version of this. Like, how the hell did they do that? And then a lot of this is just, like parameters inside of a simulation, which is really cool, and like setting up the shader to reflect these interesting things. The thing I really like about them is as a company, they're still like showing that they're making code and they're trying things out and testing things and making interesting simulations and stuff, which is really cool. I'm not sure if they're using X particles. I'm not sure that maybe they are, but they might be using something even more crazy. Bless you.
Thank you.
Blessed be thy. They're asking about our age thing. What's that thing called? The plugin for Google?
It's called Motivation.
Yeah, it's Motivation. It's a plugin for Google Chrome. So let's see, Motivation Google Chrome. There you go. Boom. It's an extension that you can add to your Google Chrome. Just type in Motivation Google Chrome, and then there you go. There you go. Yeah, these are cool. They look like rippling water. It's kind of interesting, the call we just had, and thinking about like how you would do this practically,
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah, I wonder how you do that. So let me see. Let me go and break stuff and see what happens. So let me go and make an emitter. Here. Let's see, where the shit is my shit? Where the shit is my shit? All right, so emitter. So you see this guy going out, and now maybe not a matrix. I want to set flock, no, maybe a tractor. And let's see, this attractor, change the force. Okay, and then let's see, track a trail. Go ahead and talk about movies or something while I'm being a dummy, making stuff.
I think I'm going to watch Psycho tonight, which
classic.
I've never seen Psycho.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. I watched Chappie, but not Psycho.
How dare you?
Yeah, I've been building like a calendar of all the movies, the horror movies coming up. Let me see what I got on there. A Spooktober calendar. Rosemary's Baby.
You never seen Rosemary's Baby?
Nope.
Me neither. Now that's one of Anthony's favorites, and he's always going off about it.
It's supposed to be great. Yeah, I'm trying to mostly watch movies that I've never seen before.
That's good.
Besides a few that I just like haven't seen in so long that I want to rewatch.
Who's the director of that again?
Let's see.
It's like Polanski, I think.
I think so. Yeah, it's Roman Polanski.
Yeah.
It Follows is next because I'm showing that to one of my friends who hasn't seen it. Then The Others from 2001, which I mean, it's supposed to be spooky. The Omen, Willard, which is like an interesting one. Willard's that movie with Crispin Glover where he's like controls all the rats. I don't even know that it's really supposed to be scary. I think it's more like
fuck.
just like a goofy kind of like early 2000s kind of
Willard? Never even heard of it.
Dude. The one with Crispin Glover, the remake. It's
Controls
just like
rats and stuff?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember this movie passing through pretty quickly.
Yeah.
How's that movie poster? Sick.
That's the old one. Yeah, that's the original, I think. Yeah. Look
Oh,
at that.
this guy?
Yeah.
He was
Crispin Glover. He's from Back to the
McFly,
Future.
yeah. Marty McFly. Look at him.
Yeah, that was one that is just like more of a funny pick, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, House on Haunted Hill, The Exorcist. I think I saw The Exorcist when I was like 13 or 14, and I just like haven't seen it in so long that I figured it's worth rewatching. Blair Witch Project. Damn, I'm excited to watch that one. I saw that when I was like 10, I think.
That's a great one, man.
Yeah.
It's a real actual like good horror film, I think. It
Yeah,
has
it's
like
tremendous.
Yeah, it has like it's just done really well. Like it has all the right pieces to it, which I think are yeah, it's like it has the suspends your disbelief for a very long period, I feel.
Yeah, that was like the first movie to really do that. Like, is it real? Like, I don't know. Did this really happen?
Yeah.
Like that whole viral aspect.
Mm-hmm. It was a great psychological thriller kind of.
Yeah, they like really made the most of the tech at the time.
Yeah.
And like just the state of the medium.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, we're getting some comments in the chat too with some suggestions. Hills Have Eyes. Hills Have Eyes was dope. The new one. The old one was like way slow for me. But the new one was like
I think I did.
That's the old one. The new one, I think it's from like 2007 or something. Yeah, I don't know. 2006. Yeah, that was like...
Was like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of thing?
Basically, yeah. It's like these people are on a road trip or whatever, and they get like stranded in the desert, and it's like around where they were doing all those nuclear tests in the 50s, and like these people, people in the hills just like have all these mutations, and it's really gross. But
it's like a horror gore film.
Yeah, it's definitely like more of a gore flick than like a truly good horror movie.
Yeah.
But it had some great moments, like very, I think, shocking moments too. So it's similar to
The Goonies went bad or something. This gore does nothing for me, honestly.
It's very hit or miss for me
because it doesn't. It never looks like what real gore looks like. Which real gore looks like, it makes you like when it's bad, and it makes you really just grossed out. When you see somebody get hit by like a train or something, that's like official gore. Whereas
this was also like very like you were looking at one before with just like the mutations of the people, like the guy in the wheelchair and his head is like gigantic and sagging over the back of it. I think it's the one you had open too. Like yeah, like there's just some really
this one?
Creepy. Yeah. Just like it's like almost Rubber Johnny.
That's my head after taking Maciej's class. How'd they get a picture of that? Yeah. That
remake reminded me of like the difference between the original and that one reminded me of Dawn of the Dead, where like it had just the original it had been so long since the original came out that so many other things kind of imitated it, and I think did like surpassed it. Like they took it and built upon it and made it better, or like I guess just more appealing to me personally. And then the remake was kind of just like the culmination of all of it. Like it was the perfect amount of time after the original had come out to where other properties had borrowed similar things from it, and it just was awesome. 28 Days Later is amazing too. I think this was the better version of the new Dawn of the Dead too.
Yeah, I agree. That's what when you said that, I think so as well. It's like I love the intensity and the pace. Danny Boyle did a great job with this.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It was cool to find out how he did this whole sequence too. They did it very quickly. but they were only able to do it because even if you look at the quality of the film, it's such shit because they used like old school or early day digital cameras, and the sensors were shit back then. But it was a ballsy move to do, and they set up like 10 or 20 different cameras over here, and they closed down this section of London for, it costs a lot of money to set this up, but they were only able to do it because if they'd shot in film, it wouldn't have been possible because they can afford only so many cameras and the setups and stuff. So by using that new technology, they were able to capture that shot. And I remember that shot being pretty freaking ironic because I was like, wow, that's pretty rad how they pulled that off, He does feel completely isolated and alone, which is cool. It gets kind of crazy at the end, which I think is cool. It's like Apocalypse Now, it starts to go really off the deep end towards the end, which I think is cool. So kind of a ballsy move, but yeah, when Danny Boyle is on, he's definitely on. So this is one of those.
Yeah,
films,
I really dug the idea of this movie too, like just exploring what it's like a month after something bad happens, rather than like seeing the bad thing happen.
Yeah,
like there's not like, I mean, there are some like explosions and stuff, but not to the degree where a typical apocalypse, like crazy end of the world type movie.
Cillian Murphy's his name, right?
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he does great. He was good as a scarecrow too. Yeah, weird face.
Yeah,
interesting look. He was in Sunshine as well, which is another Danny Boyle film. But yeah, I love that aspect too. I think that was probably one of the strongest aspects. And then they ripped that off directly for Walking Dead. I was like, wait, hold on. Have you seen that? Like, yeah. Yeah. It's such a great sequence, and the way that it's put together is just, it just always trips me out. I'm like, wow, like everybody knows that that's in 28 days later, and then
it's such an iconic thing.
Yeah, and then you just do it in Walking Dead. It's like, wait, it's the same thing,
Yeah,
but it's all good. It's just it just trips me out that people get away with that stuff, so
yeah,
didn't get past me, dude. But I guess
another
it's
movie
part of the
that
too.
Did an interesting like analysis of stuff like that was Maggie, the one that was another one I watched earlier this month. Yeah, which it had like the idea was like this virus, when you get infected, you have like,
spoiler alert.
Well, it's like the premise of the movie. It's like you have like 8 weeks to live rather than like immediately turning into a zombie or whatever. I don't like, they don't even really define what the monster is in that, but like it was really interesting to me because it felt a lot like a story about somebody with like dying of cancer or something, where like the family can still talk to them, and they can just see that they're getting sicker and sicker over time. And it was like pretty, like, I thought that was a really refreshing take on a genre that has kind of been done to death, because I'd never seen something explored like that before, where like it's like there was this Vimeo video
came
from
out
a
before The
long
Last
time
of Us
ago.
too.
Yeah,
I
think so.
Doesn't The Last of Us have that kind of thing going on?
Like Last of Us, I'm pretty sure is like, well, The Last of Us is similar in that it's like a father and a daughter, but the virus or whatever is more like violent, I think, where it like immediately would turn you. But Henry Hobson did the titles for Last of Us too, which is ironic.
Yeah, he's the guy I worked with. I worked with Henry for the year I was at Prologue, and this is totally like his style and his movie style and everything too. Well, look at the difference that somebody else must have done this one. So in comparison to just the designer choice.
Yeah, his work is awesome. I like Henry's work.
That's so funny. Keller House. I was gonna show Keller House's work. That's so funny. Probably got tired of people ripping off his work. Yeah,
because site's like down or whatever.
No, I think it's just like he
locked it off.
He locked it off from the public. That's so funny. It's hilarious. But if you go to like Keller House and you can see his posters and stuff, like you look at the similarities and this is style and stuff, they're quite similar. He's created like I forget his name, Steven or something. I can't remember his first name. Do you know his first name?
Neil,
that's it. Yeah, he's created quite a trend. I know that. Like I've seen quite a few designers that are heavily influenced by his work, but his work is actually heavily influenced, I believe, from what's his name, David Carson, and guys from that era. If you look at David Carson's like, what's that one book that he does? He did like a Ray Gun. That's it. Yeah, if you look at Ray Gun, there's some stuff from there that has it. It's just different typesets, but kind of similar approach to things.
Mm-hmm.
That Trent Reznor, that Radiohead cover. Look at Tom, he's so young then. Have you seen the new music video from Paul Thomas Anderson?
No.
Yeah. You haven't seen that?
Uh-uh.
How dare you? Radiohead. Just go watch it. I forget the name of the song that they made the movie from, or the video from, but it's Paul Thomas Anderson. You can't really go wrong with him. So
Yeah.
I'd love to see one of those guys do a horror film. You know, like the thing I love about Kubrick, how he approached different genres, and he did like a sci-fi and a drama, and he did a war flick, you know, and thriller, and also like you know,
versatile,
very versatile. You know, The Shining is one of my all-time favorites. And the irony of it is that like Stephen King hated this film.
So he didn't like the ending, right?
Yeah,
or something about it.
He just had a problem with the film in general, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so psychologically trippy. I love it. I'm more, and for me personally, thrillers get me going more than anything else. Like, I'm all about thrillers. They didn't need to do this one. This is kind of like in It Follows. They overdid it on certain things, you know?
Yeah, dude, don't get me started. I'm like upset about rewatching it just because every time I watch It Follows, I'm like, damn it, they were so close. Like, it could have been perfect.
If you were to go back and do parts of It Follows, what would be the things that you would remove? Because I know that even, what's his name, openly talked about how much he loved the film, but what he didn't like about it, Tarantino did. And he had some spot-on notes for it too. Like,
yeah,
really
and that I remember reading that after I had like discussed it with my friends, and it was almost exactly the same stuff. Like I don't want to like talk spoilers too much, I guess, but like,
yeah, if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's really good.
Yeah, it's a great movie, and like I always like recommend it to everyone, but my issue with it is more like that. It's so close to being perfect that the smallest flaw is like more fatal to it than like in a typical movie that might have or might otherwise be very flawed.
Yeah.
But it's just because it's like such a disappointment, I guess. It's relative.
Yeah.
But I mean, the things I would change is like the pacing was great in it up until the third act. Like once the scene I would point to in particular that kind of like sent it downhill was the scene at the beach where like that was the last, or like that was where like dumb stuff started happening, and I just like never recovered.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would talk. I mean, I'm sure I've discussed it with you before too.
This scene is so.
That was so
good.
Great. Like, dude, like how could they have done stuff like that and then done really stupid stuff like at the end? Like,
I feel like those were producer notes that ruined it.
It had to be.
Like, it doesn't have enough scares, and you need to have a build up for them to fight against, and it turns into like Home Alone, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not sure what happened. It could be the director, but I really feel like. Whoa, imagine if this was in it. So that's what I mean. Like,
that's from The Thing.
Yeah, it's just
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's just too much though. It's like it's just cheeseball stuff. It doesn't work for me because I'm like, oh, cool, like that's makeup and nice, you know, nice makeup. Whereas this scene is probably the scariest scene. You know, just like the build up, and it's just some lady in a gown walking towards the camera. It's again, that's the beauty of it, and suspending your disbelief. I believe that. Horror is really hard. I really hated this part, but because I just felt like it didn't need to be there.
That's the beach, dude. Like this
didn't need to be there either.
Yeah, dude. Like they showed her face, and like that was enough, and then they did the whole leg thing. Like, come on, like that was the
best scene of the movie right here. One of my favorites. Just what happens here. Great. It's the best. Well done.
Okay, yeah, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. Where it showed the girl with the leg bent backwards, like. That's classic overindulgence in a horror movie. Yeah. Like It Follows was a movie that I watched that made me realize that this is this is the turning point in my life where I realized that most horror movies become bad when they overindulge. Like they get too obsessed with like, oh, let's like show the monster's arm, grab her face, and like just do like really gross out gags and stuff like that. It's just like.
But some people get off on that stuff, though. It's just
it's
and that's what
markets.
scares them. Yeah, that's what scares them. Whereas me, it's like, no way, man. The scariest thing is the thing you don't show me. Cause
Yeah, dude, the grandma walking, like that was nuts.
So good. Yeah, and this scene, you know what happens after this scene and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That was great in the wheelchair
yeah,
and all that stuff. Like I was like,
so
no
good. Like,
way, what's
such
happening? Like, yeah,
iconic scenes like that. This movie had a ton of stuff in it that was very similar, or felt very similar to the way I felt about 28 Days Later, where like I would watch and be like, oh, this is like something I'll probably never forget as long as I live.
I think what could have saved this film is if it chose one side and stuck to it. That's the thing. I think if it chose that side, like we're gonna only make this kind of film and not try to appeal to too many people. I believe like when you make a film, it's so hard because you have so many different people and their voices and what they want and their own personal interests engaged on you, and like you're just kind of having to fight them off. I think that's a real big problem because then it's a design by committee, and then for people like us who go like, man, that film was really good, and then that happened, and then for other people to be like, that film was really good, but then that thing happened, and so it's not like I hate that film or I love that film. This film was like a film where I'm like, that was freaking so sick, the whole thing. It was more like, damn, that was good, but it just missed that, like those few things. I couldn't just like go like, because it had the potential to be like a horror classic masterpiece. Really, it had all the right ingredients, and it got us there too.
Yeah.
I loved it though. I still think it's epic, and I think that one thing that really helped push it was Disaster Piece.
Absolutely,
How he came out and just crushed it. It was a great podcast.
I recommend It Follows to everyone.
Yes.
Like I know it sounds like I'm talking crap on it, but I love the movie. Like the only it's like giving like a kid tough love. Like you want it to succeed so bad that it's so close, and then when it doesn't, it's like, damn. But it's amazing. It's a great. It's I would say the best. Like that and The Witch. Yeah, that and The Witch are the two best I've seen in like years. Like I want to say like almost in my life. Like the Witch is the first movie I watched that really reminded me of The Shining, where it was just like so completely meticulous about every single detail in the movie, and it just was like so unforgiving about its portrayal. It's just completely start to finish, like never broke character. Like the movie itself was just so perfectly self-contained. It was amazing.
The thing I love was the restraint. Yeah, somebody was asking if we're doing questions, and
yeah, you want to go to? I mean, there's been a bunch. A lot of them were about movies we were talking about. But earlier on, somebody was asking about what font you used in the Neuromancer deck for Michael's course.
Yeah, let me see if I can remember that. Let's see, Thorp.com. I believe it's. Let me look at it. If I see it, I can tell. I believe it's brown. Brown typeface. I believe it's brown. Let's see images. I love brown. Brown's awesome. Yeah, I think it's brown. If you look here.
Sweet.
Use it. Exploit it. Make it epic. Go buy it. Brown Pro, I believe. Let's see. No, that's not it.
It might be the one above it.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce that? Every time I see that, I'm like, is it Line 2 or Lanito or?
I don't know. They should fix that though. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. Go here and get it. It's great. It's a really great typeface.
Yeah, it's super cool. How did you get like the effects on that? What was the process?
The process for this one, I wonder if I have it in the project files with Wrigley's class. Workflow. Close this crap. Let's see if I have it in the project journey. Ash Thorp, apprentice, project files. Design for production. Source. Just gotta find it. Let's see. I don't know if they're in here. They are in here. Okay, so let me see if I can. Windows. Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like.
Does it show you the preview?
Yeah, that's such a drag, dude.
I think there's a plugin that does do that.
Well, there's a plugin that I can't remember. I think Phil, one of my mentors, Seer, Seer.
Seer, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't downloaded it.
Sign into my thing. All right, so somebody's asking about Alex Vagini. teaching a
Oh,
class.
who's that? I don't know who that is.
Who's that? Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I think we could. I mean, it's already out there. I would say that it's fine to just not talk about specifics, but yeah, we're working with Alex Fagini.
Yeah.
He's a character concept artist.
Yeah. He did when I was making the Nun film. I started doing these figures because I wanted to have scale, and the best way to make scale in your scenes is to create something that's relatable. And so I started creating these figures, and I had these visions of these ideas of these shots of the person looking out through the window and a person sitting at the top of a building, and then various people. I also had like shots of in my mind of people running through the streets and shit that we weren't able to pull off. But I started making some figures inside of Daz 3D to pose them, and then I went into Marvelous, and I just wasn't pulling off the results that I wanted, and I said, "Hey, Alex, I know you know how to do this better than me. Are you interested?" And I showed him the rough cut of the film, and he was like, 100%, let's do this. So in the middle of moving and everything, he's such a great guy, and he's really good at what he does. So yeah, he went there. And so, yeah, it's he is potentially teaching a class with us. So yeah, I guess we can say, but we can't say when and all those details. Our new thing is that we're not going to be talking or showing anything that has to do with the class until it's done, because classes take a long time, and we want them to be like insanely epic, before we drop them, because there's no point in making classes that just kind of die away. What's the point in that? So our goal with the school is just to make something like incredibly awesome and as best as we can. So yeah, so here I can walk you guys through that file if you want to see it. So this is for Michael Wrigley's class. I believe lesson 2 is out now. Is lesson 2?
Yeah, it came out today.
Cool. So if you're in that class, check it out. I'll show you. I'll walk you through a little bit more of this stuff, because it's a really, really powerful class. If you missed the last Twitch stream, we talked a bit about the details, and we're gonna have Wrigley back on. I believe on the 19th. Is that when we said we're gonna have him back on?
Yeah.
So he's gonna come back on the Twitch stream. So if you're taking his class or you're curious about it, come back and join us on that one. He's going to be walking through some of the stuff. We're going to be walking through homework and stuff too. So you can probably barely pick this up, but I have like a very slight little grid set up on here. And then I have just like some really subtle dust that I've used on I made a mat for. So if you see the mat, and this is just, the way I do this is I will either create some sort of glitch, or I'll go online and go like glitch, or I'll make something in After Effects or whatever. But for right now, I can quickly show you how I do this. And if I go to like search tools and go to size, and I want to get something quite high resolution, so I'll go here, and like this looks kind of interesting. This will give me some interesting information, and then I'll save image as, I guess. I don't know. I don't use the PC all that much, so save that to the desktop, and let me go here. It's so weird using using my PC for for Photoshop, because I never use it. So then I go here and I bring it into like this file, and drag this into the file hierarchy, and I'm gonna hold Shift and oops, the keys are all wrong. Why, Andrew? Why must they confuse me? Okay, so there's that. And so I size it down to kind of fit into spec so I can get more resolution out of it. The actual image is pretty shit. It's not very good. And what I do from here is I go to my select tool, and I'll do like color range, or actually I'll go like a select. Where is it?
Which one?
There's like this thing where I isolate it. I select things. It doesn't seem like it's up here. Layers, no. Maybe.
Color range. If you're talking about like you would select the luminosity or whatever and it would.
Yeah, there's this. Okay, there it is. Yeah, never mind. Yeah. And then so I go around and I kind of grab it, and then this gives you an active window, and then I hold Shift to kind of like continue the grab. So I go, okay, that's cool, and then I'll hit Alt to minus that area. So then I'll hit Shift to add, and then Alt or Command. I really wish those guys would stop making two things. It's just annoying for the end user. It's just ego bullshit. It's like, make your code the same, please. Stop it. And then what I'll do is I'll take that and I'll delete this, and I'll just make a new mask with that as the reveal. So you can see I grabbed that abstract information from this one. Little nifty trick, little masking with abstraction. And so this one, if you look at it, here's my typeface, and I believe this is the typeface. I believe this is brown. Should be brown. I think it is. If it's not brown, I'm not sure exactly which one. But what I do from here is I would take like that mask. So let's just take the mask that I made there. Let me just grab it and put it onto this other layer. And it's going to ask me if I want to replace it. I'll say yes. And let me go ahead and grab this one. It's not letting me duplicate it over.
If you hold Alt and drag it,
it's all.
do it.
Yeah, because I have a different key command on my computer. So, okay. So anyways, and then I go, damn it, Andrew, why is the PC? Why is it so PC-like? So I'll just hold shift and I'll kind of bring this down here. And this mat isn't very good, but you get the idea. And basically all it is I'm making abstract mats to use to kind of build out my textures and stuff. So let me grab this and replace that one. So it goes back to this one. And I'll just move this around a little bit. And this one's from another like piece that I grabbed, and then I made duplicates of it, and then I started just shifting the hue saturation behind it. And then I call these like toppers or whatever. These are the things that I put on top of my files, which is usually curves or any of these kind of color adjustments. And honestly, it's like a random like freestyle where I'm just trying to find what looks good and feels good. Until it works out, and until it looks the way I want it to. So it's kind of this technique. I used it when I was designing the FITC title sequence stuff, like that stuff. I used it slightly, not a lot. If I go to here, you can see the examples of it, and I kind of talk about it in the main title class too. Using that technique to kind of work in your advantage. It was more or less like for the posters that I made for the beginning, if you remember those.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that you liked, and then that's what kind of spawned us to do this. You were like, let's do the title sequence. I was like,
shut up.
Shut up, Andrew. I don't know if it's in here. It's kind of, there's some bits and pieces kind of, but a lot of these are just kind of grabbed and sewn together as I was designing them and putting them together. But yeah, so that's kind of the technique. So yeah. It's a real simple technique, but when you do it right, it's awesome. But you have to have an eye for design and knowing like balance and stuff. So, I mean, the resolution on this is crap, but like right there, for me in my head, I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like that looks really cool. I love the way that this is blending together and the abstractions and stuff are really cool. So I'd say like the N is a really cool look. And then this O is really cool too. And these are things that would only come about by trying abstractions and stuff and blending modes and all that kind of stuff.
We got another question in the chat. How do you guys know what font to use? Do you just happen to know what to use through the years of experience? There are thousands of fonts out there, and I'm curious how you make your decisions.
There's like hundreds of thousands of fonts out there, and deciding which one works for you is really tough.
Main title design explores that.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, that's a shameless plug, but if you go to like main title design, so like we literally break that down for you to kind of explain the typefaces and all that kind of stuff, and like which ones work really well, and which ones, I talk about other designers, and there's like Massimo Vignelli, I believe his name is. He's a famous designer, but he only uses like, I don't know, 5 different typefaces. So which is really interesting. So I think in regards for me personally, the further I go into my design process and understanding who I am as a designer, I kind of cling to like 20 different typefaces that work for me. And a lot of the times they're common ones that a lot of people use, or you'll see like things like using brown, which I believe my friend Sam Allen, who works at Wedge and Lever, turned me on to this typeface, which I absolutely love because it's very clean, legible, well balanced, and it feels it's really well put together. It's really nice. So I think with typefaces, it's more or less figuring out what it is that you're trying to convey. And here's some homework. You can see kind of my students breaking down their different type choices. So if you're interested in knowing this more, I would suggest going through that and
Yeah.
because this was, and there's classes that break this stuff down. We did our best to make it as strong as possible too. So these are interesting too.
Mohammed posted a very useful link in the chat, thinkingwithtype.com, which this is awesome. It's like very, very in depth.
Yeah, there is some really great resources. This book is one of my fundamentals. This is a book that I based a lot of my teaching on because this is how I learned about typography. And there's tons of it. She's really cool, the author. She's really cool. She's on Twitter. You can follow her. Forget her name, but yeah, she's on Twitter.
Ellen Lupton.
Yeah, that's her name, Ellen. Yeah, she's super nice. But yeah, if you're really interested in this, it's really a black hole though. Like you can spend, you can literally spend as much time as you could in like learning how to make a shader in Cinema 4D or something. You know, like it gets really quite complex. You know, and it can be like a never-ending spiral of
you'll become a little Maciej.
Yeah,
go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, go down the rabbit hole and never come out of it. So, but yeah, I think I don't know. Choosing your typeface is really an interesting task, but you'll see if you take the class or something, you can see kind of my approach to it, how I use the pragmatic kind of way of approaching things and getting things done. So, and also studying the choices, like Patrick Clare and those guys at Elastic, those designers, they use a certain typeface, and then there's like just seeing what other people use in theirs and why they use it too. Just studying and understanding like, oh, should this be bold? What should the leading be? Is this science fiction? Like should I adjust and change the norm? So or should I go and conform with the norm and be one cohesive with that style? So if you were to go and do like a movie for a title for like say like Interstellar or something, you wouldn't want to use some like kid writing or something type. So you'd want to use something that was more or less complex and articulate and had some refinement and felt like it belonged in space. So this stuff is kind of talked about in this book. This is a really good book. So yeah.
Speaking of books, Aaron asked, do you have any recommendations for books related to UI and motion design, or UI motion and design?
There's no books that I know of, honestly, for that one.
One that you've recommended in the past that is kind of similar or relevant, I guess, would be Making and Breaking the Grid, right? That one.
Yeah. Amazon.
There's a lot of grids in UI.
Yeah. It depends, though.
Yeah, if you're doing something radically different, then it's kind of not that useful. But
yeah, I think grids are fundamental in all design, and it should be implemented. But I also like, if we go to like David Carson's work, where he was really well known for breaking the grid, because he was like one of those designers for the first ones to kind of go off and break the grid, and he made so many people upset. Oh, what is this? But at the same time, he was testing the norm of things.
Breaking ground.
Yeah, he was just, that's his desktop too, by the way.
Wow. No.
So wrong.
Gives me anxiety.
Yeah, dude. How dare he? Yeah, but he's just chaotic and likes to break things and stuff. So, but yeah, if you like control and order in your life, Making and Breaking the Grid is a really great resource. This is a book that I actually got in college. My teacher gave this to me. I was like, and at that time I was like, fuck the grid, man. I'm going to do this, because I didn't know how to design really, and for a lot of people that look at this, they think, oh, like you don't have to have a designer's eye or know the fundamentals to make this stuff, because it's just chaotic and random. When in fact, he understood the fundamentals. From what I understand, he was a classically trained designer, but then he decided to take the ingredients and make his own, which I feel is what it's kind of like in relative to like jiu-jitsu. Like when you get a black belt, you're not the best. It means that you can actually finally like practice jiu-jitsu, and you can actually like contribute back to jiu-jitsu, which is making your own style, applying your own style, and showing people what you know and how to use it and stuff. So but yeah, he's one of those people that's kind of like rebels and stuff. In regards to motion design, There's quite a few resources. We might be having one of the most incredible resources dropping on the platform very soon. Can we even say anything about that?
We were talking about it yesterday. Like, it's kind of no secret at this point, based on how much I've like hinted at it strongly.
Yeah.
But I would say it's probably fine, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I did see the intro from Westworld title. Yeah, it's really cool. I like it. I love some of their other works so much, so it's hard. It's like they're getting to the point where they continually make great work. And so what I look for, I think the brilliance in what Patrick and them make is really being able to solve a problem and doing it well. Because I think at this point, they proved to the world that they can make amazingly beautiful imagery. Now it's more or less like connecting those things to imagery, and I think making it, connect to the story and stuff, which is, these are really just beautiful, so the keyboard part or the piano part was the only thing that really threw me off. But
yeah, just because that's like the most animated of it, like the rest of it, like
really.
The part with the horse is,
that's great.
That's good too, because it's like very kind of like
it's very iconic too.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's
like
so tough to do this. So you do like these animatronic looking bodies and these arms. I mean, all you go right into Bjork, Chris Cunningham world. So I felt like using the way they used light, they kind of invented their own form of it, which was cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but like I think this animation's done well. Like and the little nuances and stuff are nice, and the way it's lit's nice. I mean, Raul and whoever's set these shots up, I believe it's Raul Marks, but. It's incredibly well lit and well put together, and he has all those really nice blur and depth of focus tricks and stuff.
Yeah. It's
really
like
nice.
It's interesting because it's the same as the True Detective titles, where like you could pause it at literally any frame and it's amazing. Like I would want it as my wallpaper on my desktop. It's awesome.
That's one thing I think that they excel at significantly, is being able to make every frame a painting, basically.
Yeah.
Like that YouTube channel. But yeah, like the sequence is really nice and interesting, and the mechanics and the overall design is really cool too. So, and the arm and the hand. There was a title that my friend Simon from Prologue did for Sherlock. I believe it was Sherlock. Have you seen that title sequence?
The new one?
Yeah, Sherlock.
The show or the movie?
Show title sequence. I believe it's for the show. I could be wrong though. Let's see, Prologue. They'll probably have it on the site. Let's see.
Didn't you work on a Sherlock thing at Prologue?
Just concepts for the second one. Where's it at? Not here. Ninja Turtles. Maybe it's commercial? No. Not live action. Could have swore he did something for it. It was like this really beautiful live action like set where it was this like gimbal and these arms reaching out, and like it was all these like practical effects, which I thought was really nice. Yeah, it's not here. But there was a shot that was like that too. It's getting to the point where, like I said, it's getting so difficult, like you have all this stuff and you have these past connections to the past, like, or other significant imagery and things kind of, Chris Cunningham really like owned a big part of this kind of stuff. That's really nice. I like the idea of how, like, you go from the development of the music, and all the hidden meanings and stuff are really cool too. So like how the piano goes and plays itself, and then sheet music, and it goes from like one thing to the next, like using the piano as a translation of time, which is really cool. I like the logo.
I do too. I was going to say that.
Wayland Tailani or Tayani.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Utani,
that's it. I always mess that up. I don't know why. But it was really beautiful, really nice. So, you can't really go wrong with these guys, Patrick Clare and the rest of them. And just, they really do great stuff. Like The Man in the High Castle. I believe they got an Emmy for this. I can't remember if that was the one, but
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's really beautiful and like really.
They
well
definitely
done.
got an Emmy for True Detective.
Yeah, they did that one too. But I think the Emmys just came through. I don't really pay attention to that stuff all that much, but I think Raul told me that they got an award for this one, which is great.
Not surprised. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
an amazing
stunning.
sequence.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Yeah, but they're just killing it, man. One of my favorites of theirs is *Halt and Catch Fire*, though.
Yeah.
Still one of my favorites, and I think it's also because I really enjoy the show. So I started watching season 3. Just started it last night.
I still
actually.
haven't watched the second season.
Yeah. Yeah, season 3, it's interesting. They're like kind of reinventing every season. They kind of rebuild everything from the ground up again. So they take a lot of risks, which I think is kind of cool. So, but yeah, this stuff's great. I love it. We have like 15 more minutes. Should I do like a homework review?
Sure. I mean, we kind of trailed off on the whole announcement thing, if we want to do it or not, but we could skip it if you want.
Let's do the announcement thing. That's fine. We have a little bit of time. So
yeah,
15,
it's not
20
necessarily like an official announcement. Like, we're gonna do a similar thing to what we have with Michael's course with design for production workflow, and do like a whole reveal. But I guess you want to lead the charge.
Yeah. So are we talking about the motion stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. So super exciting about that. What should I go to Jorge's thing?
Nah, don't show like what's from it. I guess just say like who it is, and it just do like a little tease, I guess.
Well, I have to show who he is.
In case you haven't noticed, me and Ash didn't discuss doing this beforehand.
Yeah, sorry guys. I mean, should I not show the reel or no? This is his.
Oh, his reel, yeah.
Just because that would make the most sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't show stuff from the course.
No, of course not. No, so yeah, we're gonna be doing a course announcement next week. You guys are gonna be here. If you're gonna be here, it'll be with Maciej and Jorge. This is gonna be our next teacher that we're releasing a massive class for. Very big class, huge class. You get to learn from Jorge. From my standpoint, he's one of the best motion graphics artists in the world. Really,
yeah,
he's just there's very few people that I know that can achieve the life and quality that he's able to in his work. And he's spent we've been working on his class for 6 months now or something like that, 7 months.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there have been times in the middle too where we've had to pause, but still, it's been a long time in the making.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, classes take a long time. That's one thing that I want everybody to realize too. Is
hey, that looked familiar.
Yeah. No, I mean, these things take a long time, and they come from like the best intentions, and we take a lot of pride now in the best that we can of making the best classes for you guys, and bringing on the best people and our friends and people that we really firmly believe in, and people that want to be able to teach and show people how they do what they do, and kind of like taking a quote from Vitali, which is like emptying the cup, is like showing everybody what you learn, empty the cup, and then rebuild. And I feel that Jorge is in a place in his life where he's gotten to such a high level. It's perfect timing for him to teach. I believe he was doing some stuff with MoGraph Mentor, which is really great. But now he's going to have his own class here on Learn Squared, and it's going to be incredible. It really is. The class itself is insane. Can we talk about his apprentices, or at least one of them, or no?
I mean,
at least we'd say maybe one of them.
Who do the one that's still in progress?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So actually, the funny thing is, Maciej is his apprentice too. He has 2 apprentices, but one of them is Maciej. And Maciej, as you know, is not a motion graphics artist, so it's really cool. And he's been obsessed, and he's just been like giving it his all. So he's making some really cool things and learning motion design from Jorge. So this is like, it's really, even the stuff that I've seen from Maciej so far, it's really interesting to see a concept designer like apply motion graphic theory to his work, because it's like we were talking about how like concept designers are probably going to look at this and be like, whoa, Maciej made this, like now I gotta go learn animation, like that's
gotta apply that to
That's Learn Squared exactly to a T, because now it's just knowledge, and using knowledge from different categories. There should be no barriers. It's just learning how to do things that you enjoy, or whatever it might be. Because before motion, they didn't exist before. Somebody had to express themselves, and they figured out, oh, if I move this in sequential imagery, then I'm able to tell more of an emotional story, which captures the mood and ideas that I have in my head. So I think we're trying to go back to the roots of things, in the industry and how things work, not in the industry, but just in general, how we create and how we think about things. So, and people are asking details about the class. It's not for us to give you those details.
We're going to discuss it during the live stream, announcement, which will be last we discussed was going to be Tuesday, right? I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we're going to post up an announcement on social media and say when everything's coming out. So yeah, just keep your eyes posted on our facebook.com/learnsquared, and our Twitter, which is twitter.com/learnsquared. But yeah, so keep your eyes peeled there for updates on when we will be doing the big announcement. And we'll have Jorge join us and join in on the fun, and we can show some of the stuff Maciej is working on. And for the people in the chat asking, his name is Jorge Canedo Estrada. His name is, or his online handle is JR Canest, which is that's what a lot of motion designers know him as. But,
that's him, and he's the dude. So we're incredibly it's hard to put to words just how much work and how excited we are for him to be on the platform, because our goal is to bring the best people possible. And you guys are asking about Vitaly. Trying our best with Vitaly. He's incredibly busy. Why don't you guys contact him and tell him to teach for us if you guys really want to? Because it's we've been trying everything, but he's just incredibly busy. But maybe just a massive amount of people just emailing him and tweeting him and chatting
annoying him.
Yeah, maybe shut up, I got to do it then, just to appease the masses. So if you really want to learn from Vitaly, hit him up and tell him go.
Yeah, find him on Instagram and look at all his awesome posts and say, "Wow, I want to learn from you."
Yeah, exactly. But in the meantime, we have, this is going to be an incredible class and another great addition to the school. So
there's many, many more to come too. We have so many things in the works that is
so many things,
blowing our minds. So
huge learning potential for everybody to get into and be able to learn from these amazing people. So if we'll be releasing more information, but we just kind of wanted to do a quick plug and a drop to Jorge and kind of let him know, or just let you guys know what's going on. So spread the word, get it out there. He's going to be teaching, probably from my standpoint, one of the best motion graphics classes I've ever seen. So incredibly thorough and just incredibly powerful and covers it all.
And definitely be around for when we do the actual announcement too, because hearing Jorge talk about it just gets you more excited too. So
yeah, exactly. So be here for that. So is that good for the announcement for Jorge's class?
I would say that we could probably just make the event now on Facebook and post it up. But I think it's gonna be Tuesday. Let me check my email. Tuesday at, I want to say 1 p.m. was the last we discussed. I don't want to say yet. Hold on.
Yeah, I can't remember. We'll drop it though, so you guys have access.
Yeah,
to
just keep an eye on our channels.
Yeah,
and all will be revealed.
It's cool seeing the homework pour in from Michael Wrigley's class too. Had so much fun with this, so it's really cool to see people learning and taking these inspirations and stuff and building it out. The cool thing about being able to take this class and really build it out is being able to set the pace for everybody. It's kind of cool seeing people using what I had made and then taking it from there, so yeah, it's awesome. It's cool. If you're taking this class, please make sure you subscribe and post your stuff up to the homework uploader, because this is really cool. Seeing other people's work will only make you better, and it kind of creates some really interesting tones and moods and all that stuff too. So it's funny. It's cool seeing people's direct takes from my stuff too. Awesome. I want to see what you guys.
Is amazing so far. Even after 1 week, some of these uploads are awesome.
Yeah, this is good, and it's cool. I want to see what people can do when they take what he's taught and then go beyond it and make really weird, interesting things. So yeah. Say when I did it, I made these weird anomalies and stuff and took photos of them and stuff. And if you follow the class, you can see the journey as I explain kind of my reasoning and ideas behind everything too. So it's kind of interesting too, being able to not only learn from Wrigley, but also seeing me learn from him as well, and being able to replicate these things, but also find your own ideas and stuff as you go through it. So super fun. Such a fun class. crazy usable. I've gone through back to his lessons a couple times already for client work stuff that I was doing, like, hey, how did you do that? And then I'd problem solve from there and kind of find solutions and stuff. So yeah, these references are great too. These are really cool. We should, when Wrigley comes on, we'll be going through and doing a critique with him on some of the student work. So if you're in his class, be sure to upload your homework, and then he can kind of go through this and help you guys out and stuff. So I should go through and do a quick homework critique. So
I think I gotta jump off in a minute. But.
Okay, I'll make it quick. Yeah, I gotta jump off here in 10 minutes is all I have now. See if I can get access to it. So I think today I'm gonna critique. I believe the last time I did was a UI one. I can't remember. So what I'm doing now, and what Maciej does too, when we're doing these by ourselves, or if Andrew's joining, what we're gonna go through and just randomly pick somebody's work from the school and give it a critique. So basically, you're kind of getting like access to like a one-time mentorship pass, which is really cool. So if you are a part of this, or if you're wanting to be a part of this, like I suggest being here, because you never know, like if Maciej's going to pick one of yours, or I'm going to, or if Wrigley comes on and he's going to be able to. So just being a part of this, it's just our way of making sure you guys are keeping active in the situation and stuff. So yeah, so I'm going to go through this one. I think this is interesting. Let's see, who's this? Adam Marshall. If Adam's here, stoked that you're here. If not, no worries. We got to find him and send him this link though. Let's see, the hollow. Do you remember making this? The
writing the idea?
Yeah.
I remember all of them. I had so much fun doing that.
Yeah. So Andrew and we both kind of put together the log lines of the concepts, because we couldn't use real film stuff because we'd get in trouble. So we made our own, and so this one was like the log lines of America, the early 1700s. A land surveyor loses his bearings during a blizzard. Utilizing his unique skills, he must fight back against nature to return home. So it's like these are so fun though. It's like basically making up an idea. So this is cool. Like I like that you're talking about your process and everything too. I'm gonna go into here. I like the idea of using the ice and the texture of the ice, and your use of typography is nice, and having it cut and split between the two, like having the opposite, is really nice too. So I think that's really well done. It's executed nicely. I would say your aspect ratio, if it's a film, you'd probably want to keep it in more of an like a 2:3:5 or 2:4:0 or something in that ratio. But this is like, I imagine 1920 by 1080. That's what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that using these symbols is really cool too, and having it so that like the typography is under glass or under the ice is really nice, and using symbology, of religion and faith and stuff underneath it is quite cool. So, and the effect that you use is great for concept. I think that if you were to make this and then pitch this as a concept, I think it works well. One thing I'd say about your typography is just be aware of your placement of your secondary and your main type. So, like if you have directed by over here on the left, then if you have this over here, just try to keep the language and stuff somewhat connected. And by that, I mean the design language. So like if you have this over here, this has the same gap and all that kind of stuff. It reads pretty well. The red in here, the compass, is pretty cool. It obviously feels incredibly CG, even though you used a lot of textures and blurring and stuff. But that's just mostly just having a better asset to use. So that's just something that you can get eventually. So, but this works for concepts and stuff too. So, which is good. Yeah, it's cool like that. The map is cool, and then having this. So overall, I think that the concept that you're pulling off is nice, and it's a great exercise. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I think your type works well. I think that the things that I would probably try to improve on is just legibility, and also just making sure everything is matching well, and also just play with your letter spacing a little bit too. Some of these things that kerning could use a little bit of love. Set it to optical. I believe that's usually the best setting within Adobe Illustrator for your type, and see how that plays and see how it lets the letters kind of work and build. So but other than that, yeah, this is cool. I think it's a good exercise. I encourage you to go on and do as many of these as possible, because I think it's only going to make you better as you go through and learn how to do more of this stuff and problem solving stuff. So But your iconography and using these symbols, I think, really helps, and it works well. So good job, Adam. Please continue and keep going, because in these courses and these lessons, there's we cover some stuff. But we also keep our lessons very open, and there's a lot of homework and things that you guys can continually do to keep yourselves busy. So I would suggest to continually use that, as much as possible. So
yeah. And for those of you who are in Michael's course and weren't able to access lesson 2 earlier, I just made sure that it's all available and ready to go. So if you are excited to get learning on that, do it.
Yeah. So if you're in design for production workflow, get a hold of that, because lesson 2 is now up. And this is an intro, and this is really some really interesting things that he goes into. It's 2 hours of learning from here, but it's a lot of stuff where he breaks down X particles and all the procedural workflow principles and stuff inside of the Cinema 4D and all that kind of stuff. All these like really interesting things, which eventually led me to here, which I was able to get these really interesting looks and pieces of the world and all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. So yeah, a cool little shortcut thing too. If people didn't know, this is something I didn't know that Michael showed me, is that if you're in Cinema 4D and you're trying to grab something or look at something closer, or like look at this window full, kind of like when you hit the tilde key inside of Premiere, how you get the main window. If you hit Control and Tab, did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's something I didn't know. I was like, oh man, when you showed
me. What's the shortcut for doing like the 4-panel view? Because that one's really helpful sometimes. I forget what that one is.
For going like when you're in here and wanting to see all 4 panels?
Yeah, and it does like the top,
middle
front,
mouse click.
Side. Middle mouse. Okay, yeah. I always forget what that one is.
Yeah, middle mouse click is the one. That's a great one too. So a little Cinema 4D life hack. So
yeah, Michael has like we are about to start launching these like little quick tip videos of Michael's where the essence of his course is like workflow techniques in Cinema 4D and After Effects. So there's a ton of like little tips and tricks here and there that we're going to be releasing just for free, like little short 10-second videos that could really help you guys out. So keep an eye on our Instagram for those, and Facebook also, which is just /LearnSquared at any social media. So yeah, follow us if you want to learn some sweet C4D stuff.
Yep, tons of knowledge being dropped, so you guys can get to work and have fun and make amazing things. So
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and somebody mentioned it's F5 too. I believe there's quite a few things like F5 and F6. Let's see which one is. Yeah, F5 is the one that would go if you don't want to use the middle mouse click, or if you don't have a middle mouse button, and you click on that one. Yeah. Bam. Cool. Awesome, guys. It's been great. You guys, thanks for being cool.
Yeah, thanks,
nice
guys.
Out there, not being jerks, being good people. And if you guys need anything, be sure to Slack it up.
Yeah, hit us up on Slack, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the whole shebang. Like we're here.
Yeah, there's no other program that can replicate Cinema 4D. Cinema 4D is the end all be all programs. No, I'm just joking, but no, really.
Axon would love to hear that.
No, but for to be completely real, I don't know of any other program that can do some of the things that Cinema can, but I don't know other programs. So just give Cinema 4D a try. I think if you have After Effects, you get Cinema 4D Lite, and you can go and test it out and try it. So yeah. Cool. Somebody's asking for the Slack information.
Oh yeah. So if you're a student on Learn Squared, you should have received a invitation to Slack, which is like a online chat room basically. Here's the link there. But yeah, if you're a student and you didn't get an invite to that, which would be weird, just email us info@learnsquared.com and let us know, and we'll get you set up.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Have a great day. It's time to go get back to work. Everybody get to work. Yes, Houdini can do similar things to Cinema 4D. Let's not get into the whole program debate, because it goes on and on for days and ages and ages. It doesn't matter. These are all tools. I think that's the one thing that you need to keep in mind, is this is a tool like a hammer is to a carpenter. Some tools work for certain things. Some things work for other things. But at the end of the day, it's your ideas and your individuality which make you stand out from the crowd, and doing things that are different and being unique about them in your process is really what's going to make you stand out. So
Yeah.
don't get held up in the, the little nuances of programs, because that'll kill your creativity and your workflow. As important as it is, it's also not that important. So
Yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, I saw a couple people subscribe to us on Twitch during the stream. Thank you very much for that. And for those of you who are wondering about subscription, you get all sorts of goodies with the subscription. I think it's $5 a month. But if you subscribe to Amazon Prime, Twitch recently launched this thing where you get a free subscription to any Twitch channel. So if you guys are interested in that, let me get the link to Twitch Prime just to explain what it is.
Yeah.
I'll post it in the chat for more information. But yeah, if you guys subscribe, you get immediate access to the whole backlog of all our video library of all the streams we've done. You get faster chat, you get no ads, you get higher quality streams, the whole. Yeah, it's pretty dope, and you get a cool little Learn Squared icon next to your name. How could you beat that?
Yeah, everybody's using it.
Yeah, we're gonna try. Somebody earlier in the chat was mentioning too about having custom emoticons and just different little ways for you guys to get more involved in the chat and make it more fun. So hopefully we can come up with some fun ideas for that stuff. If you guys have any ideas, just send them to us on Slack and maybe we could start working them in. But yeah, so
awesome.
It's pretty cool that Amazon offers that too, because I'm definitely gonna take advantage of it.
Yeah, Prime's the shit. Prime's awesome. Yeah, you get so much from it. So yeah, guys, awesome, cool. Well, have a great day, everybody. Go have fun making amazing stuff. If you make some great stuff, share it with us. Tag us on Twitter or whatever. We'd love to see it. And yeah, have fun. Go make some amazing things. Share the news with about Jorge too. If you're a fan of his work and you find out about it, tell everybody, because the more people know about it, the better. They're going to make everybody doing awesome work, and it's going to be great. So
we're going to get a potato emoticon.
Yeah.
Lock that in.
For Mackie Boy. So
yeah.
Awesome.
All right, cool.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
Have a great day. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.